the martial artist plays the game of life. Hey, welcome back, my friend. I hope you're having a great day. As usual, let's get straight into it. Now, I've been gone for a little bit, just taking a break. I wouldn't say taking a break, but more so gathering up my energy, gathering up my thoughts, so that way when I speak to you, I speak truly from the heart. A lot of my speaking videos, I deleted them. As I said, I kind of live my life intuitively. I made some of the videos, how to become stronger, what the martial artist does when he gets older in age, this and that, and just intuitively, I deleted it. More so, I let some things out when they needed to be let out, and for whoever watched it. Whoever didn't watch it, in the end, I'm not sure about the ways of the universe, but things fall into place the way they do. And when you live intuitively, things just happen. Now, how the martial artist plays the game of reality, how does he approach life, how does he play with life? This is a question that kind of pondered me. A lot of you may or may not know that I kind of do this thing, intuitive journaling. I have stacks, dude, of journals. When I say stacks, like stacks. I just kind of sit down and whatever comes out intuitively, I just write it. And with these past couple weeks that I haven't been posting too much, many things have been coming out, been asking a lot of tough questions. And a lot of you who've been with this channel for a very long time understand that I do like to go into far off places, dig deep within myself, kind of like an astronaut, then come back with whatever answer that I have. And I don't want to confuse you too much, but what I've learned when it comes down to reality, a lot of it is based upon, you can say, science and spirituality. It's a mix of all three: mental, physical, spiritual. But in the end, everything kind of does start from the spiritual. What is the spiritual? Things you can't see. What can't you see? Your thoughts and your emotions. Your emotions and your thoughts and the way that you think really dictate what goes on and what you build upon in your life. Now, how the martial artist approaches the game of life, as Bruce Lee said, a martial artist plays, but plays seriously. Throughout all of my research, I discussed this with my line dance teacher. I told him, in the end, life is basically human beings experiencing mathematical concepts in a physical way. Now, the way I've come to understand this, to kind of, help you along on my understandings. With my line dance club, we had this showcase for the kids. Just so happily, I played the avatar. If you don't know what the avatar is, the style bender. That was my role. I was the avatar, the one who could do all styles. Now, when we researched it, had the style that was based upon Baguazhang, Kung Fu, a type of Chinese Kung Fu, Baguazhang. When I researched it, I kind of knew about Baguazhang, but when I really dug deep into it, there's these diagrams about footwork. And obviously, the one video that got like millions of views on my YouTube channel is the how to do masterful boxing footwork. So I studied a lot about footwork through boxing, fencing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, then with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, grappling and wrestling. Footwork, being able to move on your feet, is something that I studied for an extremely long time. So when I looked into Baguazhang, there was a diagram where it kind of shows you foot placements, how to move. You move this way in one circle, move the other way. And with my line dance teacher, he came up with a philosophy of a loop. The way he kind of plays with the lion head to produce power and speed. He likes to coin this thing, the loop. And when he told me about the loop, I already had this understanding of the universe where, if any of you know the Fibonacci sequence, it's kind of like a spiral. For those who are into spirituality, this spiral that you can see everywhere. It's in your fingerprint, your thumbprint, there's a spiral. A very distinct spiral. It's in trees. If you look at humans, they have a thing. We in Hawaii, we call it the giddy giddy. It's like a spiral. Everything has this spiral. Now the Fibonacci sequence in math is basically 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 3. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 5 plus 3 equals 8. And the sequence goes on and on and on and on. A lot of guys understand this who do stocks, who invest in stocks. They kind of play with numbers. On a number sequence, the Fibonacci sequence basically represents everlasting growth, but yet this spiral, this Fibonacci spiral, is a way for you to produce power. And this spiral is also in the yin and yang, the black and white. So with all of this, I told him, like I said, with the Fibonacci sequence, with Bagwajan, the way the footwork, the way they apply power, same thing with any kung fu, fencing, boxing, footwork, all of these patterns, this geometrical shapes from pyramids, all of this comes down to like a spiral and the Fibonacci sequence. In the end, my whole thing was, all we're trying to do is physically experience mathematical concepts. This is what we're doing as human beings. Now, the way I can coin this is, when you listen to music, you can measure the beat of music with a metronome. You can measure the beats per minute with certain sound frequencies. You can put a number on it, and this number will register a certain sound. And like you put all these sounds together, it'll create a rhythm. And this rhythm, you, like I said, with the metronome, with timing, with the beats per minute, you can measure the beats per minute along with the sound, and what this myriad of numbers and frequencies and timing creates. It creates a certain frequency, a certain number. Now you can measure this number and how it affects the human being. Now, when you look at science, they did like MRI scans. I think they asked a person a question and they made them think certain thoughts, and you can see parts of the human brain lighting up in different colors depending on what they were thinking, what questions was asked, what music was playing. Everything is basically, I can break things down to mathematical concepts. Same thing, I used to read a lot of Bruce Lee books. In one of the Bruce Lee books, he kind of broke down what is power. And it's basically, I think it's speed times force, which creates power. So he understood mathematical concepts on how to hit harder. If you just take more force and apply more speed, you can have more power, which he understood. He could develop his 1-inch punch. But same thing, within those mathematical concepts, there was a spiritual concept to it. And as a martial artist, through all of this training, in the end, all the martial artist is trying to do is master himself. He learns this through fighting techniques and by dominating others through this fighting technique. Then, as he matures, as he begins to understand that, reality is set differently from what he learns, he begins to take these techniques, then turn it on himself to master himself. Instead of mastering others by dominating them through some striking ability, through some grappling techniques, he then uses all of these techniques, all of this discipline that he learned to just master himself and his emotions. And this is the point that I've come to. This is why I don't really post too much, like boxing videos. The workout videos I kind of had to calm down on because, at the end, I understand that there's an evolution. And if you're a true to me, okay, this is just my opinion, but to me, if you consider yourself a martial artist, you got to understand, for me, okay, like I said, this is just my opinion, but a true martial artist, when you actually look up the terms, martial art, martial is war. Art is just something that a human creates. Warrior artist. A martial artist has a bunch of techniques that he used to hurt another individual. That's what martial artist is, without being so wishy-washy with all this bullshito, as some people like to call it. A martial artist basically uses techniques that he hones through training to hurt another individual. And throughout time, as a true martial artist, if you continue to use techniques to hurt individuals, This then will spiral back on you, like the Fibonacci sequence. You'll begin to understand that what you do to someone, you end up doing to yourself. And you know, the more I hurt people throughout my life, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I got good. I had to, you know, based out of fear. Like I said, I'm not a big guy, 5'7", whatever. Throughout my life, I had to always defend myself, and just being in fear of bigger people, and you know, just wanting to have this rep of this strong, really crazy guy. I got really good at fighting, and through fighting and coming to understand, like, what is the reason for all this fighting? Why am I putting so much emphasis on trying to be good at hurt another individual? And this is where the whole shift came to happen, and this is why my YouTube blew up. You know, I kind of just understood that the best way to really live life is to help other people. Now, this is how the martial artist plays the game of life. He comes to understand with this Fibonacci sequence, the yin and yang, everything is a spiral. So everything will spiral back onto you. So how does he play this game of life? Throughout all the ancient texts. Okay, there was a book I read, it's called The Art of Peace, by the founder of Aikido. He mentioned that no matter what, everything is a circle. And whatever you do to someone, you end up doing to yourself. Why? Because we are all one. As Bruce Lee said, the great Bruce Lee said, he had a quote where he said, there's no Chinese way, Japanese way, any type of way of style of fighting, because under the heavens, we are all but one race, the human race. And you know, when I came to dig into this philosophy of spirituality, mathematics, and how it applies to all this wishy-washy nonsense, crystals, sages, whatever, everything starts from the mind. From the mind, there's really just one source, and we are all connected to this source. But in order for us to experience these feelings of sadness, happiness, love, fear, the polarity has to exist. But in order for this polarity to exist, it had to come from one place. So all of us are basically one source, one energy. But for me to understand who I am, there has to be an entity outside of me to experience me. So to make this really short, like I said, I studied a lot of books. Getting into Chinese lion dancing, I got to really dive deep into Chinese culture. All these books, all these old ancient war manuals, Miyamoto Musashi, the Bible, Jesus, Buddha. There's that one general who was trying to find the fighting techniques. A lot of guys will bow like this, the one-handed bow. This Chinese general was so hooked on trying to get the techniques of how to be a great warrior that he like cut off his arm and was swinging it in a circle. So that's why, and you know, the master ended up teaching him the ways of the Buddha, the Chinese general. He taught the Chinese general his ancient martial art and the way of Buddhism. Please excuse me if I said that wrong, but because he chopped off one arm, he had to only salute with one hand. That's why a lot of us, even with the Chinese lion dance, when we enter the dojo or the training hall, we bow with one hand. It originated from that. Homie cut off one arm, so he only had one arm to bow. But if you have two arms, hey, sun and moon together. But everything comes full circle. You got to understand that whatever you do to someone, they will do the same to you. And like I said, in all of these ancient war manuals, it's come down to that, to the golden circle. What you put out, you will get back. The way you treat others is how they will treat you. But the ultimate is we are all one. There is no difference. You're standing here, you're watching this, I'm over here speaking to it. I'm not sure what words will register within you. Some of you guys, when you watch my videos, you say, wow, you dropped this video right when I needed it. Why? Because we are one. There is this intuitive pull in me to say these things. Why? Because I understand through the law of attraction that one of you needed to hear this. One of you needed this message of the law of one, the golden circle of treat others the way you wanted to be treated, by a tattooed guy who knows about physicality, who can kind of thump heads really well, and could only receive this message through an individual as myself. You could go study yoga and all this other stuff, but you wouldn't get the message. Why? Because you needed an individual like me who understands violence, who kind of been around the block with violence, and didn't just say like, oh, when I see red, you better watch out. No, like, I had to fight a lot of dudes like that. And, you know, for people who tell me, oh, when I see red, like, you better watch out. They have no idea about violence, about training, about discipline, and what an individual can do when he focuses just on real training, boxing, jiu-jitsu, some Muay Thai. You know, I'm not here to judge anyone. Understand that everyone is on a separate journey, but yet we are all together on one. Each one teach one. And as the martial artist, like I said, a martial artist, to me, a true martial artist is an individual who has gathered techniques and knows for a fact. I'm not going to tell you like things that will not help you. All these things that I show you with the footwork, the boxing, how I shadow boxing helped my life, these are things that has truly helped me. Okay, I'm not trying to make no wishy-washy like I'm a martial arts influencer, a boxing influencer. No, my footwork that I use, I actually use it on people to like kind of scramble their brains because they've never seen it before, and I've knocked people like fucking out cold. And when people caught on to my boxing and they saw me like do this damage on other people with my hands and my boxing footwork, understand that I could use my footwork with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't care what you know. The type of just the type of violence that I've been in allows me to have confidence in what I say. This is not like things that was passed down. I had to get beaten up for me to understand this knowledge of footwork, of boxing. I had to apply this knowledge, and everything that I show you is from my real life experience that has helped me overcome, not just survive in a fighting situation. Like, my hand was raised, or even in the street, whatever happened in the street, you know, I was able to subdue the situation and kind of have the other person respect me and just feel like, oh shit, okay, I'm sorry, Ches, you know? And like I said, I'm not trying to toot my horn, but you know, as a martial artist, the more you begin to understand that what you do to others, it will soon be felt internally by the doer, you start to change your life. And this is why a lot of fighters, a lot of martial artists who have dished out pain, you look at guys like Mike Tyson, they kind of, you know, they change. And a lot of it is because a lot of the hurt that we dished out, it starts to eat at you. And what I'm trying to do, I'm not somehow like it seems very odd to me because I kind of have this intuitive knowing, these feelings, and out of everyone who think they're like these badass fighters, I'm the only one who kind of recognizes this. It's like, bro, like, you're gonna continue fighting for the rest of your life because that's who you are internally. You're not understanding that once you become peaceful with yourself and you don't have to try and take energy from someone else, everyone will be peaceful around you. But like I said, in order to get to this peak, you would have to have done enough damage for it to spring back on you. A lot of guys who still do all these kung fu things and kind of, you know, a lot of them haven't really experienced the pain of like getting their ass whooped by someone really good. Now, like I said, I'm not judging anyone. All I'm trying to let you know is, you know, as a martial artist, you're going to mature and you're going to understand that the golden rule applies. And you cannot run from this. Mathematically. I can put it down on paper, like I said, with my journals. Like, I can give you mathematical equations that make this true. But in the end, each one is on their own journey. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. All I'm trying to do is just alleviate the pain that you might go through from you dishing out pain. And to end it all, just follow the golden rule. Whatever you do will be due unto you. So if you want blessings, bless other people. If you want strength, strengthen other people. If you want peace, be peaceful with others. If you want people to kind of listen to you, listen to them. Each one, teach one. Whatever you put out, you will get back. And that's how the martial artist plays this game of life Just always remember, train hard, grasshopper, and be kind. Let's go.